Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Monday, July 7th, 2014. I am Astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. July, my big webinar going deep into exiting the portal. All these big planets that are shifting, especially here in the next couple of weeks. Woo! Check out my webinar at my website, inclusiveiastrology.com, to download it and put it on your phone. And this is a big emotional aspect in the chart. If you look at it, we've got some grand trines going. We got a minor kite going as well. Woo! Are we going to fly high in our truth, in where we're rooting in our life, in listening to all the signs? The moon, deep in Scorpio, going to conjunct Saturn today. And this is a powerful alignment. This is getting down to serious energy, drawing lines, creating our boundaries in our life, making sure we're receiving what we really, truly want. Remember with Scorpio, it goes all the way down into your inner private self. The only person that knows what you really want is you. My mom doesn't know what I really want. You know why? Because if I were to tell her everything I want, I'm sure she'd look at me and go, bad boy. That's why it's Scorpio, right? Because it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's the Leo King. It doesn't matter if it's my little cat Leo Prince. I don't even know what he wants fully all the way. The only way to know is your own inner truth. That's why it rules sex. Nobody knows your sexual appetite better than yourself. So here's all this energy and this deep truth today, making these trines over to the sun in Cancer, which is dealing with our emotions, dealing and rooting our life in the right place. And it's connecting with this deep truth. We need to root in this truth. This is also the sun starting to make a trine to Saturn for the next 48 hours of we're about making decisions in our truth. On top of that, it's all making a powerful grand trine over to Neptune and Chiron and Pisces, which is going into what do the signs say? What does spirit say? Can we align this deep emotional aspect to what we really want in our lives? It's really interesting though, because we've got the sun in Cancer opposing Pluto, which is part of this kite, which is about the dedication to the work, the commitments we have to make in a certain destiny. And we've got the sun, which is making a really powerful square over to Uranus for the next 48 hours. This is about bold actions, bold moves. Sure, maybe we want to make, sit ourselves in our truth, but it's going to take some really new, radical, extreme actions that you might be afraid to take. The sun, when it makes a big square to Uranus over the next 48 hours, is a fear that could bubble up, especially around whether or not you're ready to take some sort of new, crazy, wild, rebellious action in your life. It really is about bold moves. Cancer doesn't like bold moves much. Cancer likes to sit at home with the chicken noodle soup and Netflix and make sure everything's comfortable and make sure the cousins are coming and everybody's coming over to hang out. But in Aries, it's all about we're going to war. And it's about we're going to war for something, a purpose, a meaning. Now, I need this in my life. I want this. The cocktail that's being mixed here is pretty intense. Because as we're stepping into today and tomorrow, we need to really pay attention to this deep truth. We need to start making our decisions in our life off this. We've got Mars, which is finally coming close to the North Node, so it's about bold actions. But are you still weighing things out? We talked about this weekend over the contemplation, the weighing things out all over the place. It's time for us in our lives to stop weighing out so much and know what our truth is. The difference between Scorpio and Libra is there's this energy with Scorpio where it's like, I want to screw that or I don't. Libra is like, well, maybe I do because it'll be good for this, but maybe I don't because of that. There's so many ups and downs and a yes to balance out a no. But in Scorpio, it's all about yes, no, I don't care what. It's so opposite. It's so black and white. And in our lives, this is actually where the deep lesson is. It's not so much about if it's a good partnership. It's not so much if it fits good in all these little different areas that we could weigh out. What's really the deep core here is if it's in your truth. And this is really going to be a highlighting couple days here, and especially today as the moon is here. It could be a serious day, I'll be honest. It's about business. You're going to have to face reality. You're going to have to put some work in today. It's definitely a cold, sober Monday. But it's a cold, sober Monday and realizing your truth and where you're really rooted in your life at. Now, the empowering part of today, because I always want to bring positive, is you'll see how that truth you could be standing strong on. One thing about the moon on Saturn is it can do a couple things. It can make you strong to make it to the top of the mountain, or it can make you feel like you are restricted and you have nothing, and how are you going to get there? And Scorpio is a bipolar sign, so it's going to highlight that in a lot of people today. Either you've made it and you're ready to make the move and ready to set the boundaries, or you have nothing. And there's a crap load of work you got to do to get there. And it's not going to be simple. And today is a reality check. Woo! And with Uranus squaring over the next 48 hours, and especially it hits tomorrow the hardest, it's a reality check in your life. Are you really in your truth? Are you dedicated and are you committed to the path that makes you feel empowered? That makes you feel like you are receiving from the universe? Our emotions, the bold moves we have to make, are going to be part of the equation we have to do. And when we stop contemplating and take action in our life, maybe we need to add the justice in what's fair for us in our life, that we're not maybe getting what we want. We got to start to take the actions. And on top of all that, Mercury's coming off this retrograde. There's a lot of new facts coming in here. But your emotions are going to guide the way. And it's whether or not you're lazy. Cancer's a lazy sign. We got Jupiter here who's exalted. He loves to be in Cancer. Ha, ha, ha. Santa Claus loves to be in Cancer. It's like a big jacuzzi in Cancer. But this is definitely a time to put the work in, as everything's starting to oppose this Pluto and Capricorn. Everything in Cancer here is about wrapping up to make sure we're rooted in the right place. Not so much if we're comfy. Because the truth is, if we're not in our truth, the comfiness can be stagnant. You could be really comfy and be out of money and be out of the place tomorrow. Does that make sense? So it's time in your life to see where the work is to your truth today. And it's going to be kind of harsh and real because the sun is highlighting this quincunx, which is with Uranus and Saturn. In order to live in your truth, you're going to have balls of steel. You're going to have to be your own superhero. Nobody's going to be able to help you. Nobody's going to be able to hold your hand and pull you over to the place. Now, I'm trying my hardest to do this for you guys. But at the end of the day, even this video is not going to be able to have you take the bold moves in your life. And we are highlighting this week the bold moves to make. Last thing I have to say before I pull the card, Venus is in a perfect yod, and it's all pointing to Saturn and the moon today. That's why it's all about this truth. Are you ready to set the boundaries? Are you ready to put the work in? Are you ready to get to the bottom and see what you have to do? Or are you avoiding that? Today's a day where it's clear you can't avoid it anymore. The card of the day is the Three of Swords upright. Meditate on this. Process it. Take it all in. Today is definitely not a day to go party. Today is a day to take it seriously, to get to the bottom of your truth, and to start to see where everything's going, to get a plan in motion here. There's a lot to process here. And it's important to process with God, to process with Spirit, to get to the bottom of all this stuff. And I'm starting to put the heavy hitter kind of astrology horoscopes on because we're coming into a big shift here. There's no more slack in the universe left. This is a serious time coming up, a big transitional time, and I'm sure you can start to feel it in your life. New people, new relationships, new projects, new everything is starting to develop here. And it's important to see if your plan is up to giving you what you receive. Saturn is going to teach how to receive everything or nothing. There is no 99%, there is no 98% in Scorpio. You either have it or you don't. And it's going to highlight this now. What are the bold moves in your life that you can make today to start to put this plan of receiving 100% in motion? And what are you still just contemplating? Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com. If you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one reading, thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you tomorrow.